What's up, Beyond the Harmony? This is a short one. Someone sent this from a while back from Billboard magazine. I guess it's when Eternal dropped. So it's worth just taking a glance at. Nothing too important, but it's always interesting to see what they were saying back then. Also, we only have one page of it, so it cuts off at the end. If anybody ever finds the rest of it, feel free to send it to beyondtheharmony99@gmail.com.
Between the Bullets by Geoff Mayfield. Another big bang. For the second week in a row, a new album debuts at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with first-week sales of more than 300,000 units. And, for the second week, that triumph is tinged with sadness. Jumping on top of the heap this week with 307,000 units is rap art, Bone Thugs-N-Har, whose new album was executive produced by Eazy-E, the rap star who was felled earlier this year by AIDS. Billboard, April 8th. Bone's album entrance comes on the heels of last week's head-turning debut by Tejano star Selena, who was murdered shortly after Eazy-E's death. Billboard, April 15th. Selena's opening week total, 331,000 units, was 7% higher than Bone's. Not just a sympathy vote. Although Eazy-E's death may have affected Bone Thugs-N-Har's early sales, the rap act's 1994 EP had already paved the way for the full-length set's loud entrance. Creepin on a Come Up has spent 55 weeks on the Billboard 200, 7 of those weeks in the top 20. That title also reached number 2 on top R&B albums. Further indication of how the album would explode came 5 weeks ago, when a Stoney Burke reissue of an almost 2-year-old album by related group B.O.N.E debuted on top R&B albums. Lastly, when street date violations allowed the new E99 Eternal to creep onto top R&B albums last week at number 78, the rumble got even louder. Rattling Bones. Although explicit lyrics make it an iffy proposition at rack-jubber-serviced stores, consumers gobbled Eternal up at traditional music retailers. The new Bone Thugs-N-Har rang in at number 1 at several large chains, including the Musicland Group, Camelot Music, Warehouse Entertainment, Trans World Music Corp., Blockbuster Music, Circuit City, Strawberries, and National Record Mart. Given that albums with huge first-week sales usually see a big erosion in the second week, there is no assurance that this album will clock a second week on the Billboard 200's throne. The newest evidence of this trend sits at number 3, where Selena's album declines by 50%, dropping its sales total for the week to 164,000 units. Hootie and the Blowfish, number 2, 169,500 units, whose sales growth is beginning to resemble the rabbit that just keeps on going and going in those battery commercials, leads Selena by a 3% margin. Each of the top 6 albums exceeds 100,000 units. Policy change. Bone's early stop on top R&B albums signals that Billboard and SoundScan have switched back to our original policy regarding street date violations. For some time, as recently as April, when the Friday soundtrack came out, SoundScan backed off titles that crept onto the chart via early sales. Inconsistent data regarding actual street dates, among other factors, made it increasingly difficult to maintain this policy fairly. Further, these early sales bursts offer important indications of a title's burgeoning popularity. The first title to be affected by this change was Naughty by Nature's Poverty's Paradise, which hit top R&B albums at number 43, a week before it soared to number 1. Street date violations affect the R&B and rap charts more than the others, because the core R&B panel has far fewer stores than the overall panel. Short stay, although it is probably still too early to judge whether.
And that's where the article cuts off. Anyway, if you guys have anything you want to submit to Beyond the Harmony, send it to beyondtheharmony99@gmail.com. On behalf of everybody at Beyond the Harmony, we will see you next time.